So I watched the whole debate live, and this particular sentiment that was expressed by Elizabeth Warren definitely seemed like a dig at Bernie Sanders. And unfortunately, it's not really surprising that Elizabeth Warren is taking these swipes at Bernie. She's done it in the past, accusing him of being, a sexist, saying that he thought she couldn't win in 2016, even though that's so hard to believe given that he wanted her to run in 2016, but she didn't want to because she was probably eyeing some type of position in a Hillary administration. And here you go, trying to throw more shade at Bernie Sanders, the least corrupt, probably politician in the United States, as well as the most popular senator. I hear everyone talking about how we all want to overturn Citizens United because we want to end unlimited spending. Everyone on this stage except Amy and me is a billionaire or receiving help from super PACs. Time to put your money where your mouth is. Hashtag Demdemate. What super PAC is Bernie a part of or getting money from? What are you talking about, Elizabeth Warren? Bernie does not have a PAC. Do better, Oppo research. Yes, he does. It's called Our Revolution. One of the Warren shills, of course. Or a PAC. They don't give money to Bernie, nor do we have leaders on Bernie's staff. Leaders have to resign to work on campaigns. Trust me, the establishment has tried to attack Bernie with super PAC narrative since the org's inception. Yo, this is just gross. Like, Elizabeth Warren has a political action committee helping her. I know because I work for it. The Progressive Change Campaign Committee, hashtag Demdemate. I agree with Warren's point on overturning Citizens United, as do I. Obviously, we need to get all money out of politics, publicly finance of them. I don't just understand who Warren is taking advice from, because lying about Bernie to make this point just feels unnecessary and just like gross and so disingenuous. Nice. I'm so disappointed in you for this again. Not finished lying about Bernie, I see from the Humanist Report. With some the snake emojis, maybe. Oh, fire. For the Bernie supporters in my mentions, Pete has vote bets for Super PAC. Joe has a Super PAC, and yes, Bernie has a Super PAC. This is really the stretch that you're trying to make. National Nurses United, this huge, union of nurses who voted to endorse Bernie Sanders. That's what they're saying is a super PAC. Big nurse money, really. All these individual nurses, people in the healthcare profession, making donations to National Nurses United. That's a super PAC. Really, this is the type of shade that Elizabeth Warren thinks is going to stick to Bernie Sanders. Yes, I'm sure he's really going to tank in the polls when people find out that nurses, by and large, support Bernie Sanders. And what do you know? He supports Medicare for All. Elizabeth Warren doesn't. And also, maybe the Sunrise Movement would have supported, Elizabeth Warren if she had been more progressive on climate change, but they supported Bernie. I'm sure she'd be touting that endorsement now too. And then look, the NNU, the National Nurses United PAC, isn't a super PAC. It's entirely funded by union members. Very disingenuous, not to mention, indeed. And here's the show. No super PACs, no closed door fundraisers, no sucking up to billionaire donors. Maybe not sucking up, but you do have billionaire donors that are supporting your campaign, Elizabeth Warren. Bernie Sanders is the only Democratic candidate running for president who can't say that. Look, Harvard students for Bernie. Number of billionaire donors per candidate. Biden, 44. Buttigieg, 40. Klobuchar, 21. Steyer, 9. Warren, 6. Yang, 4. Bernie, big, fat, goose egg. You're gonna come attack Bernie Sanders and saying that he's shady, taking this corrupt super PAC money, then you gotta come with some fucking receipts, Elizabeth Warren. This is just ridiculous. You're gonna come in probably third or fourth again in New Hampshire, and you're not going to do very well, I don't think, in Nevada or South Carolina. And I just saw a thing that, you're probably going to end up dropping out before your home state of Massachusetts, because it would not look very well to get beat by Bernie there, which I think would probably happen. I like this. By the way, you can also request refunds if you accidentally donated to her in the past. That's awesome. And then, so this is what I was referencing a little bit earlier. I don't know who needs to hear this, but at Sunrise Movement is not a dark money group. And obviously the Sunrise Movement is that group of youth climate activists who are, trying to do everything that we can to fight and address climate change. So, we actually have a livable planet going forward. If it's not obvious enough on its face, the fact that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer kicked them out of their office is absolute proof. I like it. Back to the snakes, I guess. Jack Allison. I mean, indeed, who did she... I mean, I'm definitely okay with her throwing shade at the corrupt candidates like Biden and, Buttigieg and Steyer just because of the face that he's a billionaire. And then here's Elizabeth Warren when she wasn't willing to criticize the primaries being started in these two very overwhelmingly white states, that being Iowa and New Hampshire, when she was being interviewed by Democracy Now! Let's check it out. Oh, why aren't you working? Is it not on? Oh well, but it's basically what she says is I'm just a player in the game. Come on.
I'm just a player in the game.
There you go. Come on now. Bernie does not take super PAC money. Okay. Let's see. Which super PAC is funding Bernie Sanders? Let's see what they say on this. Like this. Bernie's PAC. People allocating cash. Indeed, as he pointed out during tonight's debate, over 6 million contributions to his campaign. I mean, just ridiculous the lengths that Elizabeth Warren was willing to go to try to take down Bernie Sanders, her supposed friend, and you think would be her most kind of ideological ally in these debates in this primary process. A nurses union, Big Us, the Sunrise Movement. This person, I'm Bernie's dark money super PAC. His only PAC is the National Nurses Union, which gets 100% of its funding from members, generally PACs. As associates with super PACs or corporate PACs, Warren is betting on people not knowing National Union contributions are filed as PACs. Basically, kids, nurses, and unions. I mean, agreed. Again, it's this trying to label Bernie as some corrupt politician taking, this nefarious super PAC money is just not going to stick. He's seen as the most trustworthy politician, definitely running for president, the most popular senator. You better come with some pretty heavy stack of receipts if you're trying to throw this type of unwarranted shade at Bernie Sanders. Bernie's not a billionaire or receiving help from super PACs. Bernie Sanders, 2017 to 20, 0 billionaire donors. Elizabeth Warren, 2017 to 2020, 35 billion donors. Why does Warren act like she's not backed by billionaires? Indeed, why not, like Bernie has, totally say you're not going to take any of their money. If they try to donate to your campaign, you give it right back. Same with their, significant others. I really love this. Warren has been fighting all of her life for working class families, even when she was a Native American Republican. Oh man, it's so awesome. And then it looks like she has her own PAC, or one that she's a part of, the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. At least 20 billionaires have donated to Elizabeth Warren in the past 2 years. Not one has donated to Bernie Sanders. This is a fabrication. Bernie doesn't take any corporate PAC money. What about union dollars? You sure like the hundreds of millions they spend on elections. What? I don't even know what that says. Snake. I'd love for you to go ahead and try to name Bernie super PACs. I dare you. I mean, it's clear, for just from the overwhelming majority of these comments to this tweet that people see through this just totally disingenuous attack towards Bernie Sanders, trying to conflate him being in league with, corrupt super PACs or billionaires, or just in the same conversation. And I the start of this primary, or I guess when she jumped in and then when Bernie did after, I honestly, I was like, she would be an okay, like, second choice if for some reason Bernie didn't get it. But it's like the more you see and hear from Elizabeth Warren, you realize that they're just not on par. Bernie is just far superior, both, policy wise, and he has been for decades, and he doesn't throw these super shady attacks without any evidence against his opponents in the race, like Elizabeth Warren does against her supposed friend Bernie Sanders. So again, very disappointing seeing Elizabeth Warren trying to throw this shade at Bernie Sanders. It's not going to stick. If anything, it's just going to galvanize more support around Bernie Sanders and maybe peel off more support from Elizabeth Warren and those people. If you're really concerned about true progressive, values and getting those things passed in White House, I mean, you have no choice but to support Bernie Sanders. Seriously, if you are a Warren supporter over Bernie, I would really love to hear why, honestly, in the comment sections down below. Please, please enlighten me. Bernie 2020, not me, us. Peace.